up from my
in progress.
She's got it. I knew it. Okay. Welcome, everyone. My name is Zachary Idala. I am a professor at Bloomfield College of Montclair State University, and I am the honors coordinator there. I'm also the president-elect of NRHC, and so we'll be co-chairing the upcoming 2024 conference. So if this is your first time seeing me, get used to it, because you'll be seeing a lot of me in the upcoming weeks and months. So I just wanted to welcome you to the prep session for the proposals, or tip session for the proposals, and answer any questions that you may have about the proposal writing process. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to share with and walk you through the proposal tip sheet that we've sent out. You should have received that, but if you haven't, I can make sure that it is made available to you. We'll walk through that, and then what we'll do is I will model for you how to use the proposal portal and how to create your proposal and submit it through the NRHC CFP website. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what the proposal entails. Yeah, please, if you have any questions, go ahead.
So I noticed that this meeting is being recorded. Is it possible that we could access it later?
Yes, that's the whole point. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so what we'll do is that will be made available, and the link will be sent out after the meeting is over, so that if you want to review it, or anyone who wasn't able to make today's meeting can review it as well. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
And if you have any questions along the way, we seem to be a pretty small group. Feel free to just ask. You don't have to raise your hand or put it in the chat or anything. I'm happy to just take a second and answer any questions as we go through it. So have either of you been to NRHC before?
No, I haven't.
Is it Nwaneka? Is that how you say your name?
Yes.
Okay. You have not either been to NRHC? Okay. No. So I'll tell you a little bit about the conference, just an overview of basically how it runs and what students generally do as part of their research presentations. So the conference is going to run from a Thursday to a Sunday, and generally the day that students spend presenting their research is going to be Saturday. And during that day, students will present the research that they have been doing as part of their honors program to the larger conference attendants in different formats. Some of those formats are going to be in the form of what we call academic paper panel presentations. Others will be roundtables, posters, idea exchanges, etc. And we'll go through what each of those entail. But before we get there, what happens is students who would like to present a project that they have been working on will propose to do so, and that proposal will be reviewed and will send out whether or not students have been accepted in December. So the idea is, before you put together your presentation, you propose to present at the conference in one of the different formats that I just sort of talked about, right? This year, the conference theme is going to be looking at technology and the intersection of technology and the future of humanity, and that can take any number of forms that might apply to your projects. It could look at specifically technology in and of itself, but perhaps also about how technology is problematic in terms of who and what it means for people who are perhaps not able to access that technology, or some of the long-term effects or unintended consequences of what comes out of new technologies as they grow. It's a pretty broad theme. Presentation proposals do not necessarily have to be related to the theme, but we certainly encourage it. And in this topic proposal tip sheet here, you'll see it's linked. So you can, there's a hyperlink directly to the theme, which you can read. There are 8 different strands, what we call presentation strands, which are basically disciplines in which you can choose to present your project. So which discipline does your project best fit? Is it in business, economics, and technology, or is it education, or is it history, politics, and culture? So there are 8 of those. Others include honors ed and practices, language, literature, and philosophy, natural sciences, mathematics and health, media studies and the arts, and social sciences. So as you're putting together the project that you would like to propose to present at the conference, you have to decide which of those 8 disciplines it fits best in. Some of that might be an easy fit, others, depending on the nature of the project, you may have, a harder decision, but ultimately you'll have to choose one. Because typically the way the conference is put together is that we bundle all of the presentations, especially the talks, into those categories. So we'll have, different blocks set up for the business presentations or the honors education and practices presentations, etc. Once you've decided what topic your presentation or your project is going to best fit into, you have to decide how you want to present that project to the conference community. That can include a classic talk, which we call academic panel presentations. This would be a formal 12 to 15 minute presentation, usually accompanied by a PowerPoint, but not necessarily. And these are going to be more formal presentation style academic talks. Alternatively, if you have a project that you may be more comfortable presenting as a poster, we also have poster presentations where posters are set up in one large room with students standing next to their poster as attendees sort of mill about and move from poster to poster and engage their audience one-on-one in conversation with the poster as a visual aid to help you walk those attendees through your project. These are much less formal than an academic panel presentation, and they are also suitable for projects that may not be complete. They may be the beginnings of a project that may eventually in the next year or so turn into a more larger talk, but they lend themselves to more casual and perhaps less complete projects. But still, if you have something that you'd like to present or some preliminary results that you'd like to present to the larger conference community, a poster presentation is a good place to do either of those things. We also have roundtable presentations. These are discussion-based, small group discussion-based presentations where you have 10 minutes of planned remarks and then have a larger discussion around those remarks for the remainder of the presentation period. So these are going to be situations or projects in which you have discussion points that you would like to engage a larger audience within those and have that conversation. It's a more collaborative type of presentation experience than you would have as an academic panel presentation, which is a talk, and there's usually time for Q&A, but they're not really that, collaborative in that sense. Posters are nice because you have people going back and forth, but for roundtables, people are going to be sitting at your table with the expectation to have a collaborative discussion in a small group setting that you wouldn't necessarily even get as part of a poster presentation. We also have an idea exchange. This is where you would have some, physical handout or other swag to share as part of a presentation where you have things going on in your honors program that you would like to share with conference attendees, and whether that's a new program that your honors program is trying to get going, or something along those lines to engage the wider honors community at your college. We also have a performing arts and film showcase. This is for presentations and proposals that are performance-based. So they can be films, they can be live action, and they will be up to 10 minutes in length. And so these are situations where you have some sort of performing arts component to it, and that is its own separate presentation format. We also have an art show, and proposals can be sent in for photography, drawing, painting, digital art, sculpture, etc., which we showcase during our art show on Friday evening. So students can be a part of that as well. This is a gallery style type presentation in which students will stand by their art, and similar to a poster session, the attendees will go from art piece to art piece and engage in discussion with the artist. One thing about the art show to keep in mind is that is the one strand that you can do in addition to another one. So if you have a project that you are working on and want to do a poster presentation or a talk or a roundtable, you can do that in addition to submitting to the art show. The other, that is the only one you can sort of double dip in that way. Any questions so far? Okay. Once you have come up with what strand your proposal fits best into and what type of presentation you would like to do, the next step is to come up with and compose a 300-word proposal similar to an abstract that you would like the conference planners to review and decide whether it is a good fit for the conference. What you want to do in that 300-word or so proposal is to explain to the conference planners, myself and the other members of the NRHC executive board, some context and background around your topic, what the purpose of your presentation is, and what you expect the audience to take away from that particular proposal. Generally, you would not, I would hope, would want to loop in any faculty mentor or honors program coordinator in composing that, because generally proposals are collaborative in nature because the projects are generally collaborative in nature. And so I always recommend students to lean on their faculty mentors with whom they did the project or collaborated on with the project for help in putting that together. Ostensibly, this is a project you've been working on for some time and probably have written about a little bit in some capacity. And so those are also good places to look for inspiration to put together this proposal. Ultimately, what you're putting together is an abstract explaining what your project was about, why it's important, and what the major conclusions or discussion points are of that project. Questions about that so far? Yes.
Yes, so I have one question. So I was wondering if this could be like a group project. I want to work with another veteran like myself to bring a little bit more information to the topic that I'm doing. I was wondering if that was possible, if that's possible.
Is the presentation going to be a group presentation, or do you want to have multiple authors on the proposal itself?
I'm probably just gonna have one more person to just bring their knowledge into, like, because I know my experience, but I don't know everybody else's experience. You know, I don't want to just
Sure.
make this about what I know. I want it to be. So I'm thinking about maybe like a round table might work, but I also
we've had more than one presenter on the same project for roundtables. That's totally acceptable and fine. You just want to make sure that you add them as co-authors when we go through the proposal submission process, so that we know who is involved in the project and what their role in the presentation is going to be.
Of course, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, so what I want to do now is show you how to go through the online portal, and there's a link to it here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it up here. So if you go to the NRHC website, which is, wait for it, right here. You should be able to see my screen now. So on there, you'll see this scrolling back. Oops. You'll see the scrolling feed up at the top, and you'll see one of the first things that you see should be the CFP is now open, submit a proposal now. You're going to click on that, and it's going to take you here. And what you're going to see first is basically a reiteration of the things that we just went through. Looking at the conference theme, deciding if your proposal fits into the conference theme.
Happy
and how,
Wednesday.
again,
yeah, I was actually coming over to be like, where's my application?
So, okay, making sure or looking, sorry, determining the extent to which your proposal meets the conference theme. And again, that's not a requirement, but it is encouraged. Determining what your presentation format is going to be and what type of presentation you would like to give. Notice here that there's also a link to recent conference presentations so that you can take a look if you're not sure what kind of presentation you might want to give. Write up your proposal, making sure to get your honors director's approval. So please don't submit anything without your honors director knowing that you're submitting it. That's not a good look. And also your honors, you're going to have to put in your honors director information anyway to submit the proposal. So it's always a good idea in advance to give them a heads up that you plan on or would like to be considered for presenting at the conference. And this is also because, you know, they're going to have to help register you for the conference or arrange travel for you and all that kind of stuff as well. So there's all that logistical component to it. So it's useful for them to know who plans to present so that they can make sure they have it in the budget to get you here, right? Then by the middle of December is when you should hear back from NRHC regarding the status of your proposal. Okay, you're going to create a new user, which is just going to ask you to put in an email address and create an access key. I've already done that. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. But ultimately, what you're going to do is go through a new user creation process where you create an email address and a proposal, password, and all that stuff. We're familiar with how things like that work. It's not terribly complicated. Yes. Okay. I'm going to log in then, and you're going to see this here. It's going to have information about the event so that you know when and where it is, April 4th to the 7th, 2024 at the Albany Hilton in Albany, New York. You are going to click here to create a new proposal. When you click there, you're going to be taken to this page. You're going to have a title along with your proposal narrative abstract. So I'm going to call it my awesome title, which is not what yours is going to be, but obviously you'll have something like that. You are then going to be asked to select what type of presentation you want to give. Let's say you want to do a roundtable. Okay, you click select roundtable, scrolling down all the way to the bottom and click submit. Now it's going to say your proposal was successfully added. What you have to do next is go to more details where it says answer the following questions. So you're going to do that. You're going to input your class year. It's going to, are you a first year, sophomore, junior, whatever. Proposer type. If you are a student, you click student. If you're faculty, click faculty. If you're staff, you click staff, because sometimes we have faculty and staff who also are giving presentations at the conference. So we need to know what your role is. You'll click student. If you are interested in moderating a session, meaning you'll help introduce speakers, you can choose to do so. But if you're not comfortable doing that, go ahead and click no. We usually ask for faculty and staff to do that, and then we can rope in students as needed. But you'll answer that question. But more relevant to students, we're always looking for individuals to help out with the Student Activities Committee, which help plan and put on the student activities at the conference, including the open mic and the icebreaker event and the gala and other student events that we have. So if you're interested in being part of putting those together and collaborating with other NRHC members from other institutions and getting more involved in NRHC in general, please select yes. And then we'll have people from the board reach out to you. Our student reps will reach out to you and loop you in on those conversations. So once you have done those things, you have to add your honors director and any additional co-authors, right? So I'll just name co-author 1, right? And then I'm going to make up an email. But you'll put in their information. So if your project has more than one author, Stacy, you mentioned you might have another collaborator on your project. But if you have a larger project, like a faculty mentor who should be added as a co-author, you should add them here as well, okay? And then you're going to select their role. If they're a co-author, you select author. Then you're also going to have to add your honors director information. And so you're going to say your honors director's name, entering all that information and making sure you select honors director as their title, as their role, right? Click add, right? And so then you should see, this is from a previous one that I did when we were testing it out. So you have co-author 1, Johnny Test Guy, co-author 1 with a generic name, and then your honors director person there. And then you're going to go ahead and save honors director info and co-authors. Oops, what happened? I made an error. If you made an error, you will be told that there is an error. I'm not sure what the profile problem is. Oh, you're going to have to add all these other names, other informations. No, this is all correct. I don't see why this is a problem. That seems good to me. You may just have to go through the page.
There's a weird glitch, guys, that you need to just.
Oh, you have
like,
to add. I didn't add their institution. That's
yeah,
why.
you just have to make sure that like all those fields are, and you might even have to just click in and hit continue a second time.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
Yeah.
Weird glitchy things.
It's not that bad. It's just I think mine. I didn't put in the institution. But once you have, you won't have any. You'll see these green check marks, and that will show that all the information that is required is there. If you're running into problems like glitches that don't seem to be resolving themselves, just email the NRHC email, and we'll take a look and make sure that it's there. You'll see these check marks, right? The other thing I forgot, you have to go back to proposal title and pick your strand. I'm sorry, I skipped that part. But you're going to do whatever your strand is going to be. If you want to be informed about Illuminate, which is our research journal, we highly recommend that students who are presenting at the conference also consider writing up their project for publication in our research journal. It's a really great opportunity to get some exposure doing that and get your work published on paper, not just as a conference talk. So perhaps press yes, and then this is where you would put your proposal, your abstract. And you would write up about 300 words. And put that information there, and then click continue. And then once you have seen all these 3 checks, that means all of your information has been accepted by the website, meaning there's no missing information in that sense. You can click Save Submission. And then the most important part, you're not done yet, is to click Submit. So it'll say here, you have completed all the tasks for your submission. Please click the Submit button to submit your proposal. You can come back in and revise it until the CFP closes on November 13th. So if there are additions or changes you would like to make after you have submitted, you can do that, but it has to be before the CFP closes in about a month. So you have until November 13th to make any of those changes. But you can go ahead and click submit. You will get confirmation. You will get a confirmation email. If you want to have that resent, you can log back in at any time and have it be resent. And that is how it works. If you would like to do an art show presentation in addition, you can go ahead and just click to begin a new proposal and put that one together. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. And if you have any information, I am happy to answer those.
Unfortunately, I have to get going soon. I have class.
That's fine.
Minutes. So this is going to be, this is recorded, right?
Yes.
They're going to be sent to the email, to the honors program of our school, or individually?
Kat, how are we going to send out the link to the video?
Yeah, it'll go out to your honors director. So the same way that you heard about this, they should share this with you guys. It might not be instantaneous because I have to download the recording, and then we upload it to YouTube and then generate a link. So it'll be out before the end of the week.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other questions about the proposal submission process? Okay, well, I hope this was helpful. If you do have any questions, or as you're going through the proposal submission process, if any wonky things happen, please feel free to reach out to NRHC and we'll be happy to address any issues that you're having.